So, John, if it was a life or death situation, would you eat the corpse of a friend or family member if it meant that you would be able to survive? Or would you not eat the corpse and perish, basically?
My first instinct is to obviously survive and not die. So yeah, in my head, I think I'd try and rationalise to myself that I could devour a friend, family member, hopefully a foe, someone I don't like, revenge, start with their face. Yeah, I think I'd have to eat them and survive. And obviously it's a taboo among humans that we shouldn't cannibalise, but in that situation then you will find yourself, or I'll find myself, I can't speak for you guys, you'd find yourself justifying that. So I suppose that's case closed really, but I don't know, I think it's the ramifications of how you feel about yourself afterwards that'll probably be very interesting. Let's say you go back to your homeland after the expedition or whatever and people know that you've actually eaten someone. God, what if it was a child? What if it was a disabled child?
But it doesn't. Does the actual context of the individual, whether friend or family or child or anything, does that really make that much of a difference in terms of morals and the ethics of the issue?
We have a media bias all the time. If someone gets run over, there's more of a chance of it being newsworthy if it's like, say, a mother or a child or pregnant mother, or old man. We have this media bias that affects the way we deal with each other, right? So I think that if you're in that situation, that bias will rear its head. And again, afterwards, once you've gone back to your country and people realise that you've eaten that disabled child, then obviously that's quite a hardcore thing for you to have to work through and the community to be aware of, because they would judge you, because it is a human taboo.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's the sort of the implications and the sort of mentality and the taboo on it. But like when it boils down to it, the action is still the same.
Yeah, you can see it very logically. You can see it as X ate Y to achieve Z, but Y is not a mathematical quotient. It's a living human being, or rather it was, and therefore your history of it will be something that is tainted by the ending of the history of it. So I don't think it's as cut and dry as that. I think it's good that you feel a certain amount of guilt when you eat a disabled child.
I will remember that when I'm up Mount Everest.
Showering down on that 5-year-old, yeah.
I'll be like, I should feel worse about this as opposed to eating a foe.
This is true.
Because they're different, supposedly.
The foe.
Regardless of the fact that they are both living, they are both living individuals, it's just how you mentally categorize them.
It's one thing to eat someone who is basically young and quite vulnerable. It's another thing to eat someone who is older and shouldn't and shouldn't fart in a confined space. No. That makes them a foe. Flatulence depicts enemies.
All right, I think that's pretty explanatory.
Cool.